Good day and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your first coaching session where you were in groups of 3, one being the coach, one being the client, and one being the observer, and actually getting the client to set their agenda. It's always a bit more difficult when one needs to do this practically, so I hope you had a good exercise. Now, we're now going to start moving into the coaching skills. And the first skill that we need to learn is effective listening. Now, listening is a gift. It's important that people feel that they are truly heard. And with effective listening, it can actually facilitate growth. Without effective listening, we end up in a situation where there is little or no effective communication because we did not listen effectively. So before there's effective listening, you actually need to ask powerful questions. Once you've asked a powerful question, then effective listening needs to take place. But skillful listening opens the door to real change. So if we look, there are 4 natural styles of effective listening, and each of you will see that one of these styles resonate more with you. The 4 styles are the following. The first one is empathetic listening. The second one, analytical listening. The third one, intuitive listening. And the fourth one is active listening. So if we look at empathetic listening, that's where you are listening to actually focus more on the emotion or the feelings of the person that is speaking. Analytical listening, and I must say I'm one of the people that more leans towards analytical listening. You are listening for the facts and the logic in the conversation. Then thirdly, the intuitive listening. When you are listening intuitively, you seek to find the message behind what they are actually saying. So that is getting meaning and sense out of the conversation. And then lastly, on active listening is where you are focusing on the thoughts as well as the message itself. Now, where you want effective listening to take place, you actually need all 4 of these listening styles to happen. So even though you've got one of these styles that's more your natural styles, you need to zone in on the other 3 as well. So effective listening will recognize all the elements in a conversation, being the emotions, the facts, the content, as well as the main point. It's also with effective listening, your intuition will discern the intent behind what is actually said, and it will identify any conflict in information within that conversation. So now we need to get to some active listening techniques. Now, the 4 listening approaches in active listening is the most central in the coaching setting. So these specific techniques we are going to work through in detail, and then you're also going to get a chance to actually practice them. So the first one is to employ encouragers. So these encouragers can be verbal or non-verbal. Non-verbal can be like nodding your head while someone is speaking, maybe some gestures with your arms that encourages the person to keep on talking. Some verbal encouragers can be like and then they will keep on talking to you. The second technique is validate, and this is very important so that the person feels that they are validated in what they are saying. Especially if it's a unique or a difficult circumstance that they're talking about, they might feel that they will be judged or rejected, and then validating is very important. Validating will be, for instance, phrases like, yes, that would be hard, or I understand why you feel that way. When validating happens, it's not to say that you are agreeing maybe with the incorrect decisions that they've taken, but to validate opens up the door for later on to dig deeper into what actually happened. Thirdly, we're getting to restate keywords. So that is where effective listening is very important, that you can identify those keywords that is spoken by the speaker and that you can actually repeat them. So if we look at an example, Say for instance the speaker is saying, I'm really confused right now and I have so much going on. A poor reflection back or restating keywords would be, you don't know what to do. The key word here is confused. So to repeat back, so you're confused, it focuses the speaker attention on the confusion, that they can actually elaborate more and you can get more information from the client. Fourthly, the fourth technique is paraphrase. So the paraphrase is that you actually substitute some of the keywords with your own phrases, or you will add your own phrases to the keywords. This is to clarify the main point or confirm what you are hearing is correct. The use of your own words followed up by a question checks for the accuracy. And you can follow up with a question is that right? Did I hear you correctly? So with the speaker's permission, they can actually make adjustments now if the message that they convey was not received by you accurately. If the paraphrase is correct, they will go exactly or yes, and this also builds on the relationship in the conversation. Number 5 is summarize. Now summarize can happen in 3 stages within the coaching conversation. Either at the beginning to summarize what happened in the previous conversation, or it might be in the middle after a few key concepts have been discussed, or it might be right at the end to summarize what's the actions that the client or the speaker will take. Number 6 is reflecting feelings and emotions. Now, it's important here for a reflection of the feelings emphasized by the key emotions. Now, the act of identifying the feeling or emotion often provides the opportunity for ownership to occur. So it might be that the client has been speaking quite a lot and not really naming the emotion or the feeling. And it gives you as the coach the opportunity now to actually say, I hear the excitement in your voice. And that the client or the speaker can actually acknowledge, yes, I am excited about that. Or it sounds like you're upset. So that it might be negative emotions as well. And it's for the client or the speaker to acknowledge those negative emotions. Then number 7 is mirror. Now mirror is quite a difficult one, especially to learn. And this only happens through practice. You need to mirror the speaker's body language, facial expressions, voice tone, as well as pitch, and just the overall pace of the conversation. When you are mirroring the way in which the speaker is conveying the conversation, they will feel more at ease and that they are being heard. This is challenging, especially when the way that they are speaking is different from your style, and that's why practice is so important. And then the last one is utilizing clarifying questions. And this ensures accurate listening. So it's by asking clarifying questions to ensure that you heard correctly. This is to avoid making wrong assumptions or to respond out of a personal viewpoint. You need to ask clarifying questions. Some examples would be, what did you mean when you said it was difficult? Another one can be, can you explain that more? Or one that I regularly use in coaching is, tell me more, which opens the door to get more clarification. So in your workbook on page 26, there is 12 tips for developing better listening skills. And I would urge you to keep this handy whenever you've got a coaching conversation. The first one is to create an environment that is free from distractions. Nowadays with technology, it's so easy to take your cell phone into these conversations, and I would want to urge you to please put your cell phone away, put it on silent, but put it away as well, and make sure that there are no distractions for you or for the client that you are coaching. Number 2, stay present in the moment instead of thinking ahead. And this is so difficult, especially when the client is starting to tell you a story and you think you know what the problem is. Try not to think ahead and actively listen to what they are saying. Thirdly, Be mindful of your body language. Make sure you're not sitting with your arms all folded like this, because this is not inviting to the client. Make sure your posture is open and that the client feels that you are listening to them. Fourthly, listen for the key words, because those are the words that you need to convey back to the client. Also, with keywords, it's important upfront to tell the client that you want to make some notes during the conversation. When you tell the client upfront, they won't see it as a distraction or that you're not listening to them. But it's important to note down these keywords. Number 5, avoid interrupting or finishing sentences. This can be also very difficult where someone takes a long-winded road to actually get to the point. Don't disrupt them. Don't finish their sentences. Then number 6, be aware of your own viewpoints and responses, and not that you start giving advice to the client. Number 7, resist solution-orientated thinking. So resist in giving the client the solution. For the client to take action, they need to come up with the solution. Number 8, do not lead the conversation. Make sure you keep on asking open questions for the client to lead the conversation. Refrain from giving advice. Number 9. Number 10, offer observations in a tentative fashion. Number 11, put yourself in the speaker's place. You will then get to their emotions and their feelings and can validate that for them. Number 12, believe the best in and for the speaker. Okay, so then on the listening attitude of a coach. And listening is at the heart of coaching. It's very important. Listening is at the heart of coaching. You need to express a genuine belief in the potential of the individual to change, without judgment, assumption, or criticism. Failures are addressed with understanding and viewed from a platform of growth. The future is full of opportunity. From a coach's heart, it's a gift of hope. Also with your client, you will celebrate the successes and you will feel their disappointments. And also you will cheer them on to get to their goals. So, as a coach, you become other-centered and you are laying down oneself's attitude. So now we get to some study work. Firstly, I want you to list the 4 listening styles. Which of the 4 is your natural listening style? And please, once again, in your groups of 3, discuss that style. Then, in your groups of 3, we are going to have a coaching session again. So we've got the coach, the client, and the observer. And the observer, I want you to observe when the coach and the client is interacting to see how many of these active listening techniques you can actually identify that is being used in this coaching session. After you've had an opportunity of about 5 minutes in this coaching session, I want you to stop and then rotate. The client will become the coach and the observer will once again observe, and then the observer will also get an opportunity to either coach or be the client. So just to refresh your memory, what is the active listening skills that you as the observer need to identify and see if the coach is using these? The one is to employ encouragers, which is either verbal or non-verbal, to validate the client, to restate key words, to paraphrase, use your own words with the key words and ask a question, to summarize either in the beginning or in the middle, after a few concepts or at the end, to reflect on the feelings and the emotions of the client, to mirror the client's body language, voice, pitch, at the speed they're talking at, and then lastly to use clarifying questions to obtain more information. Good luck and enjoy this coaching session.